I welcome you all to this session of Friday's Zoom call, which is half an hour of talk and half an hour of question answers of Ask Care. Today's topic is the 5 rewards of going on a quest. Why should we go on a quest? Is there a reason or is it a waste of time? What is the reason for somebody when they tell you to go on a quest? Why should you go on a quest? Why should you go in talash? What is the reason? Very few people understand that a quest has many rewards. You see, the quest doesn't have just one reward. And before I get into the formal presentation, let me share this with you, all of you who are sincere seekers of the truth. When you go in quest of what I call enlightenment, the benefit of enlightenment are many. There are 5 specific rewards. And today we are going to cover these 5 specific rewards. When I wanted to go on a quest, I was looking for happiness. I wanted happiness. And I was the happiest man at that time, but I was still unhappy. I was happy, unhappy, happy, unhappy. And that's what took me in quest. And I also wanted to find the purpose of life. But after I realized the truth about life, I went around and realized that the quest helps you realize the truth. We spoke about, in the last 2 months, we have spoken about 100 realizations. Is it a joke? Is it a joke that we spoke about 100 realizations? And then Hitkariji came about and said, no, I want some 10 keys. And we gave 10 keys. Because of the fact that we are enveloped in darkness, we must find the solution. When you go into your room, why do you want the light? When you go into your bedroom, if the light is already on, will you switch on all the lights? Chances are you may not, because the light is already on. But if you go into a dark room, you switch on the light because you can't see, you trip, you fall. For me, it is so important to have a quest. My guru is the one who, I never knew the meaning of talash. My guru gave me this word. My first book I wrote is called Talash. I don't know how many of you. The book on Talash for me is very important because it talks about how I wrote that book probably 5-6 years ago. How I went on a quest. How I realized the truth. How I too believed in fairy tales, my friends. I believed in so many fairy tales. I believed in all the superstitions, all the myth. I am admitting I have lived my life till I was 48. I believed in all the rituals, all the formality pujas. I was caught, I was trapped. But when I went on a quest, I took 9 questions. I hope you all remember, I have spoken to you all many times. My first question was on birth. What is birth? How are we born? What created birth? The second question was death. What happens at death when we die? My third question was on God. Who is God? Where is God? What is God? My fourth question was on heaven and hell. Is there any heaven or hell? Everybody talks of heaven and hell. Even till today, some of the religions believe that all the souls in this world must die. Can you believe what they believe? Can you believe what they believe? That every soul must die, then this world will be finished, then a new world will start. Do you believe? How is it even possible to think like this? So I went in quest on heaven and hell. Then I went in the search of the law of karma. And then I studied rebirth and reincarnation. The 7th question I was studying is the soul. The 8th question, what is the purpose of life? And the 9th question, what is enlightenment? What is moksha, nirvana, mukti? I took 9 questions, my friends. I took 9 questions. I don't know how many questions you want to be answered. That's why every day I come to you on Ask Care. I'm happy to answer your questions. But I had 9 questions. Today, I can make these 9 questions 200 questions. If I list down under these 9, I can give you at least 200 questions. 200 big questions. And if you get into micro, there can be 1,000 questions if you break up into small questions. But today I want to share with you When I went in Quest, I had 9 questions, but there are 5 major rewards. And today's talk, before we get into question answers, is on the 5 rewards. What are the 5 rewards? When you go on a quest, what are the 5 rewards? And the 5 rewards are these. 1, happiness. The quest will lead you to eternal happiness. 2, peace. It will give you peace of mind. I'm not talking about ordinary peace of mind. I'm talking of Ananda, Satchit Ananda. 3, it will give you the meaning of life, the purpose of life. 4, the realization will give you enlightenment. And 5, you will realize God. What is the benefit of going on this talash? What is the benefit of coming on this Friday call? What is the benefit of coming every day on Ask Care? 5 rewards. I hope you will remember these 5 rewards. Just like Hitkari has got 10 keys, these are the 5 rewards of talash. Happiness, peace, purpose, enlightenment, and God. You can get 5 things. How will you get these 5 things? This is the challenge. So let us start on the first. How can you attain happiness when you go on a quest? You know what I thought when I was running a business for 25 years, I thought happiness equals achievement. Happiness equals success. I mean, unless there's success, there cannot be any happiness. So everybody in this world thinks, or most of the people in this world think, that money equals happiness, that pleasure equals happiness, that when you have a product, when you have something to eat, when you're in a place, you will be happy. No. Happiness is not achievement. True happiness is enlightenment. 80% of the people in this world, they live with pleasure that comes from achievement. 20% of the people in this world, they live with peace that comes from fulfillment. The first peak of happiness is achievement. The second peak is fulfillment. The third peak is enlightenment. My second book I wrote after Talash, my second book is titled 3 Peaks of Happiness. 3 Peaks of Happiness is my second book. And I try to share how the quest will lead us not just to eternal happiness, but also what I call bliss or ananda, which takes you to peace. What is peace, my dear friends? Peace is a foundation of happiness. Peace of mind is most important because where there is no peace, there can be no happiness. Show me a person who is happy and has no peace. It's not possible. A person who is peaceful, that person only is happy. It is like a building. In a building, you can't have a skyscraper, you can't have a tall building unless there is a foundation. How do you expect to have a tall building without a foundation? The foundation is peace. The building is happiness. You have to learn to build your life on the foundation of peace. People don't realize. And sometimes I like to give you all some songs. And the songs take you to that state. So for this peace, or what I call Shanti, one of my favorite songs is this. Shanti se mila kya hasi anand, सत के चित्त में मिला सच्चिदानंद, शांति से मिला. Shanti means peace, right? So what should you do? Pay attention to this and then ask me a question if you have a doubt. It says, शांति में है जो जीवन जीता, सत्य का चित्त करता, वो आनंद पाता, शांति में ही तो एहसास है होता, प्रभु है अंदर, महसूस ये होता, शांति में ही तो प्रभु है मिलता। उनकी जो आवाज शांति में सुनना, शांति से मिला क्या हसी आनंद, सत्य के चित्त में मिला सच्चिदानंद, शांति से मिला। Do you have peace of mind, my friends? Most people don't have peace of mind. Most people are stressed out. You're stressed out because of your wife or your husband. You're stressed out because of income tax or GST. You're stressed out because of a court case. You're stressed out because of your parents or your children. You are stressed out. You are stressed out. You are stressed out. Why? Why are you stressed out? You are stressed out because there is no peace in your mind. But you don't realize that it is your mind that robs your peace. You want peace of mind, but you don't mind your mind. You don't mind your mind, you don't find your mind, and therefore your mind steals your peace. The third benefit of a quest of talash, the third reward. The first reward is happiness. When you go on a quest, you understand the true meaning of happiness. That happiness is not something you get. Happiness is a state of being. The second reward is peace. How to still the monkey mind. You can find out when you go on a quest. The third reward, you find the purpose of life. Happiness, peace, purpose. When you go on a quest, you will find your purpose. Otherwise, like a sailboat, you will drift and drift and drift. You know, when my guru saw me going to Switzerland and Finland and Iceland and Greenland and Antarctica. And my guru asked me, hello, are you just going to live and die? Or are you going to find out who am I? My guru asked me the question. And his sending me on a talash, on a quest, transformed my life. And then, with the grace of God, he certified me. He certified me to go and teach people. My guru told me, now it's time for you to teach people. It was actually my guru's idea for me to start giving talks, bhajans, books. It was my guru who encouraged me. He told me, you are meant to send the message to the world. He told me, you have gone beyond a point, and now it's a time for you to help people attain the purpose of life. So remember this. The purpose of life is to understand why we are here. The purpose of life is not just to collect money. What will you do? Whether you have millions in the bank or billions, whether your wife has 10 crores of gold or 20 crores of gold, can you take 1 gram of gold with you? Can you take 1 gram? Only 1 gram. Can you take 1 gram of gold with you? You can't. Why don't we realize this? We are not able to realize this because there is no realization. There is no realization because of ignorance. There is ignorance because we have not gone on a quest. Therefore, everything starts with a quest. There's a beautiful song on this purpose, and I say, Samsar se gar mil gaya sab. You understand? Samsar se gar mil gaya sab. Mila to kya mila? संसार में जो भी जीता अंत में दुखी होता. संसार से मुक्त होना मकसद ये है जीने का. भक्ति से ही ये होगा. रिमेंबर दिस. संसार की माया से मुक्त होना भक्ति से ये होता है. प्रभु से गर प्यार इतना हो जाएगा, मुक्त फिर वो होता है. Do you love God? Are you seeking God? Do you have that passion, that yearning for God? If you don't have, you won't find it. Even if you want to become a cricketer, you must have passion for being a cricketer. If you want to become a Bollywood star, you must have passion. You can't become anything in this world without passion. And if you want God, you must be passionate about God. Until you really, really, really want God, you will not find God, my friends. Unless you really want happiness, you will never find true happiness. If you want true happiness, go on a quest. The first reward, happiness. The second reward, peace. The third reward, purpose. The fourth reward, enlightenment. When you go in quest of the truth, you find enlightenment. How do you find enlightenment? Enlightenment is to switch on the light. You switch on the light when you overcome ignorance. You switch on the light when you realize the truth. A lot of people think, oh, I know the truth. Oh, I know. You know? If you know the truth, that means you don't know. Because when you know the truth, it has to appear in actions. If you know the truth, if I know that this glass has got poison, this cup has got poison, and I'm drinking, what is the meaning? Do I know? If I know this cup has got poison and I'm still drinking, it means I don't know. Because if I know this has got poison, I won't drink. It's such a simple thing. Knowledge is not realization. Unless knowledge is crystallized, like water in the fridge has not become ice. Water in the fridge will become ice only when it goes below 0 degrees and it forms into ice. There's a difference between water and ice. There's a difference between knowledge and realization. But when you go on a quest, the fourth benefit, the fourth reward is enlightenment. And this is our ultimate goal, to realize we are the divine soul. So we have to get to that. And the fifth reward, the most important reward, what do you find when you go on a talash? You know why I'm telling you this today about talash? I have a purpose. I want you to go on a talash. I want you to start a quest. I'm not telling you this story just like one more story of my Friday stories. No. I want you to go in talash because I want you to get ultimate happiness. I want you to find eternal peace. I want you to find the purpose of life. I want you to get enlightenment. And I want you to find God. But you can't find God. You have to realize God. Many of us pray. Many of us pray. But we don't know what we say when we pray. We don't know to whom we pray. But we just pray. Then I tell such people, then we don't pray, we just bray. You heard when a donkey comes, just brays. Do you understand what the donkey is saying? क्या donkey? क्या बोल रहा है? Imagine we pray and God doesn't understand what we say, then we don't pray, we just bray. When we go on a quest, we realize God is not in heaven and hell. We realize God inside. We realize God here. प्रभु दिल के अंदर है. तू दिल के अंदर है. तू दिल के अंदर है. तुझे पर देख ना सकते हम. तुझे पर देख ना सकते हम. एहसास गर सच का होगा. एहसास गर सच का होगा. प्रभु से एक हो जाएंगे हम. प्रभु से एक हो जाएंगे हम. but you must go on a quest. You must go on a quest if you want to realize God. My dear friends, how do you realize God? The quest leads us to self-realization and then takes us to God realization. Today's session is very profound in that way, that if you start your quest today, you have achieved big achievement, huge achievement, if only you start your quest today. But after I talk for 30 minutes and after you waste your time for 30 minutes listening to my blah, 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 and if you still don't start your quest, then you have wasted your time. The 5 rewards can be got. But like I always tell you, you need a guru. You need somebody to take you from gu to ru, somebody to correct you. I had a master. I had a spiritual master who all the time told me, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. I must have made 10,000 mistakes. I must have made 10,000 mistakes on the spiritual path, because it's very difficult. It's very difficult to overcome Maya and to understand Leela. Very difficult. So you need the help of a guru. Did I tell you the story about this guru? Once there were some people and they were fighting. Did I tell you the story about one man died? One man died and he left Ashok Maheshwari. You know the story? He left 19 camels. Do you remember the story? One man died, he left 19 camels. And he told that my son must take half the camels. How to take half the camels from 19 camels? So we have to cut one camel into half. They said, how can the man told half camels? Then he told, my daughter must take 1/4 camels. How to take 1/4 of 19? Again, we have to cut the camel. And my servant must take 1/5 camels because my loyal servant. So there was a lot of confusion. Lot of confusion. So they called the guru of that man. The man had a guru. The guru came and he said, what's the problem? He said, see, he died. He has created fight in the house. Everybody is fighting. You have to cut the camel. No, he said, wait. So the guru came. He brought one camel of his own. Now there were 20 camels. He told the son, how many you are supposed to take? He said, I'm supposed to take half. 20, I gave one camel. Nah? Take 20. You take half, 10. He told the daughter how much you have to take. She said quarter. How many quarter means how much? She said 5. He said take. He asked the servant, how many camels do you have to take? The servant said 1/5. How many? 4. Take. Son took 10. Daughter took 5. Servant took 4. The guru sat on his camel and walked away. The guru sat on his camel and he walked away because the man knew very well that when he left half plus 1/4 plus 1/5, the guru came with his camel, solved the problem and walked back with his camel, because he did not need to give his camel, because if you give half plus 1/5 plus 1/4 of 19, it is only 19. But men cannot understand. We human beings, although we are intelligent, you take this to Harvard University, they will say how to solve the problem. Half of 19, how to kill the camel. They'll say we have to kill the camel. Just like they do on Bakri Eid, they kill the camels. He says, no, you don't have to kill the camel. My dear friends, when you go in quest, you are enlightened. You are able to ask, investigate, and realize the truth. You reach that state of consciousness. Unfortunately, we human beings live in Maya. And because we live in Maya, we don't realize that everything is like a show. We think it's real. Nothing is real. Nothing is real. You know it. I don't have to tell you. You know it. You know that if you go, nothing will be yours. You know it. Do I have to teach you? I don't have to teach you this. Then why don't realize it? Why don't you realize it? Why we are fighting with each other? I'm asking you why Taliban is fighting in Afghanistan. Millions of people, millions of people. Why they are fighting? Ghor avidya. Ghor avidya. This whole world is fighting with each other. This whole world is fighting with each other only because of ignorance. This whole world is fighting because they don't realize that nothing is permanent. everything is transitory. Everything is a projection. Unfortunately, we don't realize it. I love to tell this story. I might have told you many months back. There was a king. The king lost very precious diamond necklace. The king lost his very precious diamond necklace, so he announced that I will give 1,000 gold coins. 1,000 gold coins to somebody who finds my diamond necklace. His diamond necklace was priceless. I mean, big, solid, nice, very, very costly diamond necklace. And it was in antique. It belonged to many generations back. So everybody in the kingdom started searching for this diamond necklace because it's a very, very precious necklace to the king. Suddenly, one fisherman was rowing his boat and he found that necklace under the water. Sanjay Das, you remember the story? No? So what he did, Sanjay Das, this man, he put his hand in the water and tried to take the necklace. He could not take. He put the rowing boat, that oar, he put inside to take the necklace. He could not take. He tried. Next day he came. He didn't tell anybody. Why he didn't tell anybody? He knew that if somebody else comes to know, they will get the 100 gold coins, 1,000 gold coins. So next day he came and he jumped in the water. He saw the necklace. He saw the necklace and he jumped and he could not catch the necklace. So he became so upset. He was sitting down there. Then one Swami passed by. The Swami asked him, why you are so upset? He said, no, nothing. No, why you are so upset? The Swami was a Swami, he was a sannyasi. Tell me what's your problem. I will try to help you. He said, but promise me that you will not cheat me. I'm a sannyasi. Why will I cheat you? He told him this, I'm finding for one necklace, 1,000 gold coins reward. And I saw the necklace. I can see the necklace, but I'm not able to catch it. The sannyasi was a very enlightened soul. You know what the sannyasi told him? The sannyasi told him, you are not able to catch the necklace because you are jumping in the water to catch the necklace. But in reality, the necklace is hanging on the tree above the water. You are seeing the reflection in the water. Go and look up and the necklace will be there. This man went, he looked up, he saw the necklace hanging on the tree. He was trying to catch the reflection of the necklace in the water. My dear friends, why I love this story, we are all trying to catch the reflections. We are all trying to catch the reflections and we are missing the necklace, the real necklace. We are missing the real wealth. We don't realize this world is just a show. We come and we go. Will you disagree with me? You know very well, right? That this world is Leela. It's just a show. It's just a show. That's why today in Maldives, I recorded a song. Just now I recorded a song. It will be up on YouTube maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow. The song says, nothing is real. It's a cosmic drama. We are just actors. We come and we go. There will be laughter. There will be tears. Such is the cosmic show. It's a drama, you see. Whatever will be, will be. Our role we must do, you see. What will be, will be. What will be, will be. My dear friends, when you go on a quest, you realize the truth. There are 5 rewards: happiness, peace, purpose, enlightenment, and God. You reach that state of Sat Chit Anand. You become conscious of who you are. That consciousness of the truth gives you anand. But there are five rewards, not just one reward, but 5 rewards. When will we go in quest? When will we search for the true purpose of life? My challenge to you today, are you going to start your quest today? Or after this session also, you're still going to be busy searching for the diamond necklace in the water when actually it's hanging up on the tree? Are you going to be struggling how to divide the 19 camels, not realizing that you need a guru to help you to get to the other part of the show? Are you going to ask questions? Are you going to investigate till you realize the truth? Or are you just going to go on and on and on? Remember, if you want God, God is not made of bone and skin. God is the power that lives within. The 5th reward of going on a quest is God. Happiness, peace, purpose, enlightenment, and God. The challenge is, how will you realize God? You have to go within. Next week's topic is how to go within. Next week's topic is how to go within to realize the truth. You heard so many people saying, Andar jana hai, andar jana hai. Andar kaise jana hai? How do you go within? How are you going to be able to reach that state of consciousness? My dear friends, with that note, I would like the administrator to start with questions. I hope you are ready with your questions. Every day we ask questions. Why do we have Ask Air every day? Because unless you ask, unless you investigate, you will never realize the truth. You have to AIR. Is it difficult to remember AIR? Air. AIR means ask, investigate, realize the truth. Ask, investigate, realize the truth. Administrator, let us start questions.
Shankar Silvaraj.
Shoham Guruji.
Please unmute it.
Yeah, I'm there.
Yes, Shankar, yes, I'm sorry. Please go ahead, Shankar.
Sir, the book on realizations, is it ready?
It's already been sent to everybody. Have you sent me a message on, if you send me a message, it will come to you.
Okay, fine.
The hard copy is still not ready, but the soft copy is already sent to everybody. You don't have it?
No, sir.
I have sent it to you just now.
Okay.
I have already sent it to you just now.
Okay, thank you.
As you're talking to me, I sent it to you. Yes, next, please.
Gaurish.
Gaurish.
Sir, namaste.
Namaste.
Sir, yeah.
Tell me, Gaurish.
The mind and
I can hear you. Tell me, Gaurish.
Mind and is I want to overcome it. The mind is so strong that sometimes I feel very anxious, and sometimes because dealing with mind sometimes would be it's very hard. Yeah. So how to overcome it, sir? In some situation.
You must first of all realize that your mind is your enemy. First point is you must realize the mind is an enemy. First point. Many people think the mind is king. Many people think the mind is everything. No, mind is our biggest enemy. You must use the intellect. You must use the power of discrimination. If you let the mind think thoughts and you think in the thoughts, you are sure to be a disaster. Please do not become a slave to your thoughts. You must learn. The first point is to know that the mind is the enemy. The second point, is to observe the mind, to spend time in silence. So the practical solution is spend time in silence and try to observe the mind. If you do that, the chances are that you will be able to silence the monkey mind and make it into a silent monk. So this is not new to you, Gaurish, but obviously there's something that's going wrong. I don't know what is going wrong. You have been attending these calls for such a long time. Please try to still your mind. Are you spending time in silence every day?
Yeah, I'll try to spend, but sometimes
No, try. Not try. You eat
Yeah.
food every day, or you try to eat food every day?
every day
Eat food
it's,
every day. You eat or you try
Yeah.
to eat?
every day it's
Like you eat food. Food is what you're eating is for the body. Silence is for the mind and the soul. You need every day silence. You need silence every day.
Mhm.
So please try to do that and then see whether it helps you or not.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Administrator.
Jyotri, next question.
Jyotri, your question, Jyotri.
It's typed, what is the procedure to go on a quest?
What is the procedure to go on a quest? It's very simple. To go on a quest, you need questions. To go on a quest, all you need is questions. That's all. Take questions and start finding answers. Take whatever questions. I started with 9 questions. When I went on a talash, I started with 9 questions. And the next thing you need is you need silence. You should be out of this world for some time, whether you are locked in your room upstairs, or you are in the jungle, or you are in the mountains, or wherever you are, you should not be disturbed. In the modern day, my solution to you, Jyotri, switch off your mobile phone. Don't keep the mobile phone all the time. Don't switch on your laptop all the time. Only switch it on for half an hour or 1 hour in a day. Finish all your work and say, I'm not available till tomorrow morning. Spend time in silence. Spend time with your questions. Take question by question by question, and keep on finding answers. Use your intelligence. Take the help of a guru and get to the answers. When you find all the answers, they become pieces of a spiritual jigsaw puzzle. Take these answers and put them together. And once the puzzle is ready, you will find enlightenment. That is the way to go on a quest. Thank you. Next question, please.
Kumaraswamy.
Yes, sir, Kumar Swami.
Shubham Guruji.
Shubham, Kumar Swami.
Actually, the Maya will stop our enlightenment. How to overcome? My question was that actually. But today, by telling a very important and very excellent story of the fisherman, I can understand at least 60-70% what is a Maya. Seeing outside is not important. Going inside is more important. That I can now I understood. That is. And one more thing is, if we are having a deep desire, automatically the quest will start. So many questions will automatically start. So one by one question, if we will go through by solving the question only, we will get the answer of that. What is our desire and what to do and where to go also. And
Correct.
moreover, the main point is, my main question is, see, we are having a knowledge about our Atma, but we are having a knowledge, but we are not having an experience. See, getting the experience of the soul experience is more important. Is there any sadhana for everyday sadhana? If it is there, please help us.
So that is what we talk about. Knowledge is not realization, correct?
Yes, sir.
So, for example, you like the fisherman story. That
Yes, sir.
fisherman knows that he knows that the necklace is there. Why
Yes.
he cannot catch it, Kumar Swami? Why he cannot catch it?
Because of ignorance.
Because of Maya. What you said, Maya projection. The projection is showing it is under the water. The reality, it is on the top.
Yes,
This is
sir.
an example of Maya, correct? No, the projection is wrong. The second thing is this, that the projection is Maya, but how do you reach, how did he find the necklace? You need a guru.
Guru, yes,
He
sir.
found the guru. The guru told him, what the guru told him, don't look down, look up. The guru doesn't want to run away with a necklace. What will the guru do? The guru doesn't need a necklace. So he told him, go and look upstairs, don't look downstairs. And he found it. So therefore, how to overcome Maya, how to convert the knowledge of the soul into realization, we must continue the sadhana, continue the quest with the help of a guru. We have to continue, we have to continue, we have to continue. Today I did a recording Kumar Swami in Maldives. Imagine you are swimming across the ocean. Imagine I'm in the ocean, I'm in a Maldive island, all four sides ocean, correct? If you are swimming, if you just swim for 3 minutes and you stop swimming, will you reach the other side?
No.
You will sink.
Yes.
You will sink. If you stop swimming, you will sink. So what is the spiritual significance of this, Kumar Swami? You keep on swimming. You keep on swimming in the ocean of samsara. You keep on swimming in the ocean of samsara till you reach that. Now, I am not giving the answer. The Upanishads tell you the answer. I'm giving the answer. You said you give me an answer. I'm giving the answer as per Upanishads. The Upanishads are telling the 4 ways of reaching enlightenment or God or Atma Jnana is Viveka, Vairagya, Shatshampat, Mumukshutva. The 4 doors to liberation. It's called the 4 doors to liberation. The first door is Vivek, discrimination. First door. Second door is Vairagya, dispassion, renunciation. The third door is discipline, Shat Sampat. Samadhama, Upariti, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhana. I can give this later to you. Third is discipline. Fourth is Mumukshutva, means deep devotion for God and liberation. If you have got, if these are 4 doors. Or Kumar Swami, how many doors you have to open? You have to open 4 doors. If you pass these 4 doors, discrimination, dispassion, discipline, and desire or devotion or deep desire for God, these 4 doors will reach the ultimate destination. So this is the way to reach that point.
And actually, sir, in the nature, the Maya can also be eliminated, what I understood is, by seeing anything in 2 different angles. Suppose if you see a person, as a person, you have to see as a God also. Because we are living in the society, we have to see as a person, see as a God. If you see the tree, also God and tree, both in two angles, if you check up now, the Maya, somewhat we can will overcome, I'm thinking.
But when you see like that, there are chances that you may forget the God. But if you see only God, the tree will be there. You will see the tree, but you will not see the tree. You will see God. For example, what you are saying, let me give an answer to you. You are saying you should see this t-shirt as a t-shirt, and you should also see the t-shirt as a thread.
Yes.
But if you don't see the t-shirt, you only see the thread, then you overcome Maya. Don't see the appearance. Please don't see the appearance. Only see the divine. Satyam Shivam Sundaram. Satyam Shivam Sundaram.
We are living in the society. We are living in the society.
I am not asking you.
We have to live in the real world. Meantime, we have to balance the both.
I am not asking you not to live in the society. I am not asking you not to see the tree and not to see the person. But I'm asking you to see only the God in the tree and only see the God in the person. Although you see the person, you see beyond the person. If you want to overcome Maya, I'm giving you a way to overcome Maya. If you want to try your style, you try your style. If it works, very good. But I know one thing, when we see God all the time, Kumar Swami, then we are liberated. Then we are living in a state of Sat Chit Anand. What you say is a good starting point, but go to the final point. Thank you, sir. Administrator, next question.
Hitkari ji has given some questions.
Hitkari ji. Okay,
Yes.
yes.
Currently, Talibans are killing individuals indiscriminately. Whether they are only instrumental of squaring up negative karma of such victims or creating negative karmas for themselves by such actions, intentionally or unintentionally.
No, hold on. Taliban are not messengers of God to square karma. Taliban is not coming for, they are not God's angels to come and square up people's negative karma. So no, we should not think that Taliban is squaring up people's negative karma. Is Taliban creating negative karma for themselves? Of course, without hesitation. That's why when some people like this Taliban, when they are killing people indiscriminately, we found yesterday, I heard some 90 people died in a bomb blast. Oh, those people will suffer. You see somebody suffering, one man face full of bubbles, one man having all diseases, leprosy. Why? This is karma. So when you are somebody like a Taliban, I'm just giving an example because your question is like that, you will have to suffer and not suffer one janma. You will suffer and suffer and suffer and suffer and suffer. There's no end to it. I think it's a longer question, I remember. Is something more in that question?
Yes, if negative karmas are created for Talibans, can it be taken those victims were innocent and had no past negative karmas?
No. Those people who are suffering not because they are innocent. Cannot. Mr. Hitkari ji, cannot happen. God's world is completely fair. So it is so coincidental, Hitkari ji, that the people who are suffering are paying for their karma. Are you getting my? You may wonder how. You may be. आप सोचते होंगे कैसे हो सकता है? How it is possible that those people are? That is God's maya, no, Hitkari ji. वो उनकी लीला है. वो कैसे करते हम नहीं जानते. वो जानते हैं. But nothing in this world happens. Nothing in this world happens other than karma. So let's break it up into pieces. Taliban is taking action, they will pay for it. Are they supposed to square up karma? Are they the messengers of God? No. Are the people who are being killed innocent people? No. All these I'm answering to you here, Hitkari ji, by intelligent, factual explanation. I hope you're agreeing with me as I'm explaining point by point. If you disagree, please tell me. If there's any point where you disagree, you must tell me that no, I don't agree with this point.
Very humbly, I still hold my own views on this issue. I will not agree because if the victims are not innocent and we say they had negative karmas, then how somebody is going to punish them or take their life? So somebody is there who is initiate some action. So
But-
to that extent, Talibanis are, see, I agree that act of Talibanis is incorrect. It is very wrong. But somebody has to initiate some action.
Against whom?
Against anybody whose negative karmas are there.
That is not our job. That is the law of karma will take care. Now, let me also tell you one thing. I think there's a small misunderstanding in this, Hitkari ji. The people who died may be innocent, what you are saying, because only they died. In one flash, they died. Maybe their time is over, that's all. Maybe they have not done anything wrong. Those 90 people may not have a negative karma because they died. ऐसे सबको तो मरना है. मुझे भी मरना है, आपको भी मरना है. उनका टाइम आ गया बस.
नहीं सर, ऐसा है जिस स्टाइल से they are going to be finished, that is very abnormal.
I agree
उनको
with you.
मरना है, that is very abnormal, very cruel.
But I see it very differently. What you say is correct as you see it, because you see it with the eyes of the skin and the bone. But when somebody has to go, somebody may go now, some sleeping in the bed, somebody may go by being bit by a snake, somebody may go by a flight accident, somebody may go by a COVID. COVID में इतने लोग मर गए. This does not mean कि COVID के लोगों का बुरा कर्म है. No, no, no. COVID में लोग मर, उनका टाइम आ गया. उनका टाइम आ गया, COVID में मर गए. उनका टाइम आ गया, तालिबान ने उड़ा दिया. So this is my view of it, but like you say, you may have an opinion. I respect your opinion. There was one more question of Mr. Hitkari, Pushpa.
It says that I understand that only one divine soul is there, and it has trillions of independent units which carry ME. Respected.
Wait. The soul doesn't carry ME. The ME has the soul. It is different. We can't say the soul is carrying the ME. The ME is empowered by the soul. The ME is given life by the soul. It's one soul. One soul is giving life to 8 billion people. So the ME is the unit of ignorance. The ME is the unit of karma. And the ME comes alive with the soul. Continue, please.
Respective Atma units merge with the main one divine soul when its all karmas, ME, are exhausted.
No. The Atma karma don't get exhausted. I will say, just read that again. Not the Atma does not, read the second point again.
Respective Atma units merge with the main one divine soul when its all karmas, ME, are exhausted.
So the Atma's karma doesn't get exhausted. It's only a small change of understanding. It is the me. It is when the me's karma gets exhausted, the me, when you're enlightened that there's no me, then the Atma becomes one with the Paramatma. Continue.
Again, only one unit of Atma carrying me joins zygote and not two independent units of Atman and me.
No, correct. There are not two units of Atma as such, but it's like this. One cell of a man and one cell of a woman, when they become fused, when there's a fusion, there's a fertilization, and a zygote is formed, it is one Atma as such, one power. It's not two powers coming together. It is when the two cells having Atma, see the Atma is one. In the male cell also there is Atma, in the female cell also there is Atma. It's not like there are two different Atmas. The power, there's a power in the cell and there's a power. The two powers merge and they become one power. Therefore, it becomes one zygote. Is there anything beyond that?
Can it be assumed that two different entities, Atma and ME, exist in space and simultaneously join with zygote and not one unit of Atman carrying ME?
So it's like this. We are not able to decode what is in space, Hitkariji. It is beyond man's comprehension. कोई भी दुनिया में बोल सकता है कि स्पेस में क्या है, कोई भी दुनिया में बता सकता है कि ऊपर आसमान में क्या है, आउटर स्पेस में क्या है. The fact is that we don't know. Nobody knows because it is beyond the senses. हमारे 5 senses जो हैं, हमें we are incompetent. A human being is incompetent. But just to understand the point, read the last point again, please. I will just put a point in perspective.
Can it be assumed that two different entities, Atma and ME, exist in space?
Stop. There, in the realization and enlightenment, there are no two different entities. The only entity is the Atma. The me is born out of avidya, karan sharir. The me is born out of ignorance. That ignorance causes the me to be reborn. Therefore, the me is a maya. It exists as a maya. It is not a real entity. You can't catch ME. You can't catch mind. You can't catch ego. You can never see the photograph of mind and ego. Its existence in a body, every cell of the body is the Atma, is because of maya, because of ignorance. So continue the point there.
So can it be assumed that two different entities, Atma and ME, exist in space and simultaneously join the zygote and not one unit of Atma carrying Emi?
My understanding, Hitkarji, is very simple. In the space, in you, in me, in the mountain, in the tree, in the river, in the bee, हर एक चीज में एक ही है, एक ही शक्ति है, एक ही आत्मा है, एक ही पावर है, सब कण कण में वही है. This is the only understanding that can make sense to us. Whether you go to a jewelry shop, whether अंगूठी है, chain है, bracelet है, सब में gold है. Everything may appear as different things. इस दुनिया में आप हैं, मैं हूं, एक पंछी है, एक टाइगर है, सब में प्रभु है. हर कण कण में आत्मा है. Every dot of this universe is Atma. This is what it takes realization. This is what, when we are enlightened, when we realize that nothing else exists, then we'll realize what we realize. We realize Prabhu hi ek satya, sab kuch baki mithya, jo bhi दिखता यहाँ वो सच ना वो मिथ्या, जो भी दिखता है वो तो मिथ्या है, प्रभु बिन कुछ ना कुछ भी ना है, जग मिथ्या प्रभु सत्य. This is what Vivekananda said, jag mithya prabhu satya. Adi Shankara said, jag mithya prabhu satya. I think even Guru Nanak said, jag mithya prabhu satya. Baki sab mithya hai. Baki sab mithya means illusion. Appears. It appears, but it's illusion. Thank you for your interest. Very interesting question. Very deep, thoughtful questions. It carries anything more to ask on the question?
The answer is incomplete.
Which answer?
अभी मैंने जो सवाल पूछा है अभी वो incomplete है.
The last
अभी
question.
और भी है उसमें.
I'll read it here.
Yeah, please continue.
Further, this contention gets support from different main and established religions all over. When at the last rituals, Uttalas, it is prayed to God or the superpower that the departed soul be merged with you and be out of cycle of rebirth and death henceforth. Will it be fair to outright conclude and dismiss similar views of individual Atmas held by different religions? Is it not to be found out and ascertain how and why this view of individual Atma originated?
Read again. Read it slowly so that everybody can understand, and I also can read the last portion again slowly.
Further, this contention gets support from different main and established religions all over.
Okay, so religions have got mythology, so we are not going to get into what religion says, but we are going to continue listening to the question. Continue.
When at the last rituals, Uttalas, it is prayed to God or the superpower that the departed soul be merged with you and be out of cycle of
Stop. Just because we pray for the departed soul to be merged with you, it cannot be merged. The departed soul can only be merged with mukti, with moksha, with nirvana. Just because kal Taliban hai, hum Taliban ke liye pray karenge, Prabhu Taliban ko apna bana lo, kaise banega? No. So this whole problem of religions doing prayers after the death is a big illusion. It's a big myth. Prayer is between my connection with God. If I just by praying to God, please, oh Lord, the departed soul, please make him one with you. God cannot make one with every soul. Has to find their own way to go back to God. Continue, please.
Will it be fair to outright conclude and dismiss similar views of individual Atmas held by different religions? Is the first question. Is it not?
I didn't understand this question. Hitkarji, what do you mean by this question, Hitkarji?
सर ऐसा है कि दुनिया के जितने भी रिलीजन हैं, that may be Muslim, Christians, Hindus, Buddhists, everybody says same thing.
क्या?
In all the rituals, they say that departed soul be merged with the divine soul.
Correct.
So that means all over world.
Yeah.
It is the understanding.
So you have to realize whether you want to be in the kindergarten of religion or you want to go to the university of spirituality.
These are
Agar religion,
Sir, ऐसा
अगर
है,
religion-
Sir, no. I'm not telling only about India. It is in Muslims, Christianity, Buddhists, Hindus, everybody, all
Okay.
over the world. All
So
over
let
the
us-
world.
let us just quickly look at these 4 points.
The-
The Christians believe in heaven and hell. We will go to heaven and hell. Do you believe? The Muslims believe that day of Qiyamah, all souls must die, then the world will end. Qiyamah hogi. The Buddhists believe that there is no Atma. Everybody has their own different beliefs. The Hindus, Sanatana Dharma believes in what we are talking about, believes in Mukti and Moksha. This is also what is part of Guru Nanak's belief, because you are not mentioning about the Sikhism. So what I'm saying, religions are good, but religions do not take us to God realization. Religions make us go round and round. They make us believe in God. They make us pray to God. They give us bhakti. They are needed for the journey. Without religion, we cannot achieve enlightenment. But we need to go beyond religion.
Sir, ऐसा है, my contention is only one, that when everybody says the same thing, so it may be understood that different Atma is there.
What
Different
Atma is there?
Different units of Atma exist. And
कहाँ से आएंगे ये different units of Atma? जी कहाँ से आएंगे? कहाँ है आप जरा बताइए? Where is the different units of Atma?
Listen, मैं तो सिर्फ ये पूछ रहा हूँ आपसे, I'm seeking your guidance कि
Yeah.
when everybody says that his or her Atma should be merged with you, so that shows कि Atma is independent, Atma is there.
That is wrong, Hatkariji. Even though the world is saying that is why 99.999% of the world will not get enlightenment. Because these religions are only following mythology. These religions are not following the truth. You are fortunate, you are trying to get the right enlightenment. I'm not asking you to blindly believe me. Please don't blindly believe me. But please quest further. Go further on your quest. आपको जब एहसास होगा, you will yourself come to know that it is true कि आत्मा एक ही है. Atma, Paramatma एक ही है. It's called non-duality. It's called Advaita. Please study on something called Advaita. Advaita means एक है, सब कुछ एक है. And there was one last portion of the question, Piyu.
Is it not to be found out and ascertain how and why this view of individual Atma originated?
This individual Atma only gives the foundation for religions to survive. नहीं तो सब मंदिर बंद हो जाएंगे, सब क्रिश्चियन चर्च सब बंद हो जाएंगे, उनका धंधा ही बंद हो जाएगा.
It is everywhere, sir. It is everywhere.
मैं मानता हूँ.
Doing the same thing.
But if you follow, I will tell you 4 things to follow to close this discussion. You please follow Adi Shankaracharya. 1, you follow Vivekananda and Ramakrishna Paramahansa. 2, you follow Ramana Maharishi. 4, you follow Nisargata Maharaj. 5, you follow Chinmaya mission. You follow Ramakrishna mission. There are many spiritual organizations that will give you the truth. Don't follow religious organizations, because religious organizations are taking you in the opposite direction. This is my humble submission to you. I am only putting forward my realization. अगर आपको इससे ज़्यादा कुछ realization हो तो हमें बताइएगा, please. I would be happy to hear from you. Administrator, do we have anything else today?
Karthik has asked for a question, but it's time, so.
So we will take it tomorrow because it's a heavy this session. I would like all of you, see, Hitkariji has come with very deep questions. But let me tell you one thing. While the questions are very deep, they are very elementary in going on a talash. I told you when I went on a talash, I covered these 9 points. In the 9 points, I covered what is the soul, where is God, what is the purpose, what is rebirth, where is heaven and hell. Hitkariji, I spent 2 years in deep content. I will send you tomorrow photographs of the whole library of thousands of books which I read to try to find. I read all the religious books and I realized that this all mythology. How does the religion start? It just starts with some people following one person and goes on. But हमें नहीं चाहिए, हमें प्रभु चाहिए. And God is beyond religion. Are you telling me that 4 different religions means all their gods are correct? Are you telling me the God of Muslim and Christian and Hindu and Buddhist, they're all, so Prabhu kaun hai? God kahan hai? That itself will make you realize that these people who are fighting with each other for religion, they are doing disservice. God is one. Why they can't understand that small point? Why they are fighting with each other against the religion? This will make you realize, sir, sahi baat hai. Ye log apne, they are all just selfish. They are only trying to promote their religion. We are not interested in any religion. We are interested in the truth. And I call upon everybody. Today's session was a very deep session. I hope all of you, Ashok Maheshwari, Sudeep, Krishna Sharma, Rajendra Makwana, Girish, all of you will contemplate, because we are ultimately trying to find what is called the realization of the truth. And we will continue tomorrow with more questions, because my job is just that. I have no other job. My job is to share with you my life journey and to help you realize the truth. Mera ek hi maqsad hai, to make you realize the truth. With that, I bow down and I thank you. Shivoham.